One reason why the Oakland Raiders will win Super Bowl 52 in Minnesota, don't you know? I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, well, there would be a lot of reasons, but I think that I'm just going to go with the obvious one for me is the offensive line up front and Marshawn Lynch and how that all goes together. If they're able to finish games and in football games with that group, they're going to be there at the end. If you have to rely on they had a lot of fourth-quarter comebacks last year and in previous years, and if you have to rely on that, you don't want to be in that situation. So for me, that offensive line being able to just hand the football off, impose their will on the front line, which they do with KO and Rodney Hudson and Gabe Jackson, those guys, Donald, they can move bodies. And that's why Reggie McKenzie brought those guys in, is to do that. So if they're going to go all the way, they got to be able to end football games that way.
I like the way you defer there. Didn't make one mention of their quarterback.
Not necessary.
Why will the Oakland Raiders, Lance, win the Super Bowl this year?
Well, I say they're hungry. The way that their season ended last year with, obviously Derek's injury and as hot as they were toward the end of the year, I mean, they were the team that everybody was talking about. Then your brother goes down, he's injured, can't play. I think that kind of reignites that flame for them. They'll come in, they'll be very, very hungry. They won't take anything for granted. They're going to work for everything that they get this year because they're not going to surprise anybody. And I think his injury will almost be a blessing in disguise.
Well, they're hungry, like you said, and Jay-Z said that guys may make sure they finish their breakfast. So we'll see if that all comes to fruition. Now let's flip it on the other side of the coin, David. I know you don't want to do this, but give me one reason
it's gonna be difficult.
Why the Silver and Black do not win a Vince Lombardi trophy this year.
The only reason that I can see, and it really isn't on the offensive side of the ball, it's if they can get that defense right. I mean, they were last in sacks and last in yards per play. That's not a winning combination. That's why they had to come from behind in a lot of games. Now, this defense has improved. It's talented. I think they're going to do a better job of pushing the pocket. Now, the lack of sacks and pressure wasn't because of the outside guys. Bruce Irvin and Khalil Mack, obviously two of the best guys to do it. It's up front. You give guys too much room to step up. There's no pressure on the quarterback. There's some good quarterbacks in the division and around the AFC. You can't let them stand back there forever. And that in turn leads to the yards per play and all the other issues that you had. So get some pressure on the quarterback from up the middle, and they'll be just fine.
Why will they not put sticky fingerprints on that Lombardi
Well, I'll
this year?
do you one better. I'll give you two reasons. The New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow.
I just think that the matchups with the Raiders and these two quarterbacks, obviously, proven quarterbacks, both have won multiple Super Bowls, and Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady. It's just not a great matchup for the Oakland Raiders, and they're not going to let Bruce Irvin and Khalil Mack beat them. From being in the locker room with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2014, I know that Todd Haley and Mike Tomlin are not going to let those two edge rushers beat them. So it's a tough matchup for them, and that will be the reason why I think those two teams are a little bit further ahead than the Oakland Raiders.